Hello, folks. This is Joe from My Geek Scene. I'm here with Malcolm Ray. Malcolm, how are you doing, sir?
Good. I am excellent. It is a very relaxing Friday evening, so I'm just all settled in.
Well, I'm glad I was able to catch you this week.
Yeah, me too. Like, it's been a very chaotic week, but things have finally settled down, and I'm here with you, and I'm ready to answer whatever questions you got for me.
All right. Well, folks, for those of you who don't know, Malcolm is an actor. You can hear his voice in various commercials, and he's also a part of Channel Awesome, and he shows up in quite a few of the videos. So, welcome to My Geek Scene, sir.
Thank you so much.
So, we're not going to talk about Channel Awesome. Granted, yes, it's a cool thing that you do. I'd rather talk to you. Yes, gasp, shock. Gasp. Let's talk about things that you're involved with. Like, for instance, I would like to talk with your involvement with the Black Sands motion comic and animation by Manuel Godoy, I want to say. So, yeah, what are your thoughts on the series and your character? I want to say Apedemak?
Apedemak.
Apedemak, thank you.
Yeah, I love the entire concept of Black Sands. Manuel Godoy, he is pretty much like a pioneer in this new wave of media where we don't have a whole lot of Black representation when it comes to that blend of, I want to say shonen style comic book sort of deal.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, the shonen style look. Because that is a huge market where, you have shows like Naruto, Dragon Ball Z, One Piece, and so on and so forth. And he kind of took that style and packaged it up in a way that, gives people that have not seen a Black face in these sort of projects, he's given them a voice, he's given them a platform. And I am honored to be playing the character Apedemak. He is a powerful king of the, I believe it's Karma. I need to go back over it because this project has been going on for quite a bit and it keeps evolving and developing. And I'm honored that Manuel Godoy accepted my audition. I got to play Apedemak, Apedemak's son, and Osar's father. And it's such a wonderful project. I'm putting my all behind it. I'm making sure to get the word spread out. Any updates that he comes up with, I try to make sure that it gets seen because I really want to see this project succeed. Outside of me being part of it, I mean, that's great. I need to, up my career stats, but I just want to see this project be successful because I genuinely love it.
Oh, I would agree. I checked out, I have not read all of the comics, but I did watch on the YouTube channel for Black Sands.
Black Sands Entertainment.
Black Sands Entertainment. I did watch the motion comics with the voice acting thrown into it, so that was pretty cool to check out. And I'm looking for more of that stuff down the road when it's available. So yes, I do have a vested interest in the upcoming animated project.
Yeah, he had a sample of the feature film that was going to kind of work as a pilot for the animated adaptation of the series. And that's the direction that he wants to take it in. I haven't heard anything new on that yet. But again, he's completely doing this independently, self-funded, self-promotion, and just basically doing tours of conventions. So it's understandable that, it's a challenge for sure, but he's been doing incredibly well for just doing it independently.
Now, speaking of representation, have you seen the new Netflix anime series called Cannon Busters?
Cannon Busters? That sounds familiar. I don't think I've heard of it, no.
It was created by LaShawn Thomas, who has worked on the Boondocks, and it was also a web comic that he created, but it just finally came to fruition on Netflix a few months ago. And basically, the majority of the characters are people of color, and they're voiced by people of color in the voice acting industry. And it's a solid show. I mean, it's an anime. It's a mixture of you can see numerous references to Cowboy Bebop, Trigun, Samurai Champloo, and I want to say Gurren Lagann. I mean, there's a lot of influences, and it's a very, very solid show that I would recommend. Like, the first season's out on Netflix, and I believe there might be a season 2 down the road. They definitely, no spoilers, left it open-ended for another season.
Wow. Okay. I'm gonna need to check that out. Shit, that sounds amazing.
Yeah.
I didn't know they made another series outside of Boondocks. That's awesome.
And you did see that Boondocks is coming back, right?
Yeah, Boondocks is coming back, and Mr. Witherspoon.
Rest in peace. Rest in power, sir.
Yeah, rest in power, sir. I cannot believe that. I wonder what they're gonna do now that he's passed. Are you just gonna let the character die, or are they gonna I can't see anybody replacing that character.
Actually,
you know what I mean?
I can see someone doing Granddad. And that's John Witherspoon's son, because from what I understand, his son does pretty good impressions of his dad.
Really?
Yes, and the only reason why I know that is because I had watched, I forgot the name of his son. His son and John Witherspoon appear on the Joe Rogan podcast, and I listened to the whole thing, and then his son from time to time would do impressions of his dad, and I was like, oh, that's spot on. So I think they might have a workaround.
Okay. I mean, if they want to do it, if he so wills it, I imagine he would have to be okay with doing it, which I imagine he would. But that would be awesome, because man, Granddad is he's such a staple in the show.
Oh, for sure. I mean, I just hope that they get actually all of the cast back. I mean, well, we both know that Uncle Rux is going to come back one way or another,
Oh, yeah. He's got to.
Yes, I can't even imagine, the Boondocks without Uncle Ruckus. Prior to watching the Boondocks, I was, familiar with the comic strip. Actually, I read all of it through the library, through the books that were released. And then when I first watched the Boondocks, I was kind of turned off by it, because I was like, oh, great, y'all just say nigga. That's all you do, And I'm
right.
It's that's it. And then I sat down and I watched it, and I was like, actually, this is a very intelligently written satirical show.
Oh, man. Yeah. And, I love Boondocks for that, because he packaged it in a way that could be easily consumed by a wide audience, but it would definitely hit certain notes that he could relate to certain audience members that were kind of, in tune. Woke, if you will.
But I'm just wondering, this upcoming reboot, is it going to survive in today's current climate where people take offense at pretty much everything?
Yeah, that I haven't really considered that, honestly. Now that you mention it. I feel like Boondocks would be more important now than ever.
Oh, I'd agree. I would agree.
And yeah, and I think it's just what we need, to help get these people refocused. Because I feel like a lot of people have kind of lost sight. Because a lot of people would watch Boondocks just for, nigga this, nigga that, and saying all that. And a lot of people would kind of miss the deeper meaning in it. That's what I feel, at least in my peripheral social circles. I feel like a lot of people would miss the point of Boondocks, what they were saying.
Oh, I can see that. I mean, granted, yes, we should be sensitive to everyone.
Yeah, so, absolutely.
Within reason, of course. But also, I feel that we have still need a critical voice to be, critical of everything,
Mm-hmm.
So
I wholeheartly agree. Wow, this interview is getting quite interesting. I'm more excited than ever to continue with this interview. There's so many great things that we can discuss.
Oh, well, I'm glad that you like my interview style so far. I told you I like having conversations with my guests, so just know where the conversation carries us.
I'm loving it. I'm loving it, dude.
So, speaking about great things, or at least great for you, I can't really say that they're great for me because I haven't really delved too far into it. So, what is it about Sam and Max that draws you to them?
Oh, man, Sam and Max. Man, when I was a kid, I caught glimpses of the show, and I never really understood what it was. And I didn't know when to watch it. So it would run on a very specific block on Fox back in the day, like the Fox box or something, like something Fox. But my parents, they would always like put me on like Cartoon Network, Nickelodeon, Disney. Like Fox just wasn't like a go-to unless it was like X-Men related. And so it had such a unique time slot. I would miss it. And it wasn't until years later when I'm like in college pretty much, and I'm in a used video store and I see a game for the Wii called Sam & Max Save the World, or it was one of the first Telltale game from Sam & Max, and for Sam & Max, the first Telltale game from them for Sam & Max, and they ported it to the Wii, which was really interesting. That's how I got reintroduced to the series without realizing what the series was. And I was like, man, I remember seeing this as a kid. I'm like, what is this? And so I popped it in, and it was hilarious. Like, all the humor is like my kind of humor, kind of like that snarky, almost cynical, nihilistic-ish kind of humor. I kind of like that. And non sequitur too. It combined all these weird elements of humor, and it just drew me back into the series. And I was on like this crazy Sam & Max kick for years. And like I played all the games. I played the original Hit the Road. I read the comics, and then I watched the series. I just couldn't get enough of Sam & Max.
Were there any particular favorite moments from the universe? Whether game, comics? Favorite stories?
Man, that's hard to honestly choose. One of my favorite moments, honestly, came from the comics. It's like Sam and Max were fighting like these Nazis, basically. And the sort of humor that they incorporated into that World War II era was just really funny. And I don't know, I find the comics a little more entertaining than like the games or even the TV show. It really grasped the essence of Sam and Max. It was just mostly non sequitur. Whereas I feel like the games focus more on the nihilistic humor. Okay. If that makes any sense. Yeah, like the games and media, they focus more on the nihilism and cynicism that Sam and Max kind of like touched on, but really they were more so about like non sequitur sort of stuff. It's like, and it kind of makes you question whether or not they're actually doing these things. Like, are they really police detectives, or do they think they're police detectives and they just go and do whatever? Like, who is the commissioner? Why does Sam always have to be the one to answer the phone? You know what I mean?
Okay.
There's like layers to it. It's really, really clever.
Oh, well, you're going to have to forgive me. I wasn't in time able to read any of the comics or play any of the video games when I was doing research on you.
No worries. No worries.
Have you ever met or reached out to Steve Purcell?
I actually have not. I've tried to find if he would attend any conventions or have some sort of public appearance, but last I like heard, he was like working for like, he was doing like some work for like Disney Pixar. He was like doing like storyboarding for them for some of their animated films. Okay. Yeah. But I would like to have a chat with the dude, like just kind of like pick his brain to see like what inspired Sam and Max.
Well, maybe the Grand Rapids Comic-Con can book him in the next year or so, and then we'll give you a heads up and you can just show up, not even as a guest, just to show up.
That would be wonderful. I would love to meet Steve Purcell.
That would be excellent. Don't get me wrong, I don't work for the Grand Rapids Comic-Con, I work for myself, but
well, yeah,
it'd be cool to see that connection happen. Not even on film, just to watch that moment, you know, when you get to meet one of the people that's obviously had an impact on your life.
Oh man, yeah, huge impact. Like the Sam and Max style humor is, it's like I'm inspired by their humor, but like I'm drawn to their humor at the same time. So it's like this sort of in and out process.
Besides Sam and Max, what are some of your favorite examples of anthropomorphism? That is just a hard word. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, well, when you're a furry, saying anthropomorphism just comes naturally.
Yes. Well, I can't say that I am a furry, but I definitely have respect for the furry community. I try to be as inclusive as possible, except for jerks. But yes,
I appreciate that.
Well, why would I want to cut out a portion of a potential audience?
Yeah, exactly.
Because it's something that I'm not necessarily into. I mean, why would I want to cut that out? That just makes no sense to me whatsoever. People are people.
Right. And if you keep an open mind, you never know what you could learn. And that's a good approach to have.
Well, some of the nicest people I've met are part of the furry community. So, like I said, I'm not a part of the furry community. I have respect for it,
Well, much respect. I appreciate that, man.
So let me attempt this again. What are some of your favorite examples of anthropomorphism in the media?
Let's see. That hard word. You can just say anthro. Some of my favorite, like Zootopia, is probably like one of the biggest and coolest representations. Arthur. Yes, Arthur. Sorry, I've got just someone kind of in the background just notices my chat happening. Arthur, like Star Fox. I really enjoy Star Fox. There's this new series that came out. I believe it's called Beast Stars.
Okay.
It's an anime. I have no idea exactly what it's about, but it's been making waves all over the internet, and I have definitely got to check that out. Man, yeah, there's just like countless upon countless examples of anthropomorphism in media. Like, you have like Robin Hood. Technically, like stuff like Lion King would talk, because all anthro is like applying like human characteristics to otherwise non-human types of characters. That includes things like, I mean, I don't really necessarily count this, but it technically is. But like Brave Little Toaster, that's a form of anthropomorphism. When
never even thought about that. Wow.
Yeah, it's interesting, right? It can get really involved. Cars is another example. Transformers. But like, again, I stick to mostly like, when it comes to like animal anthropomorphism, I find it really unique. I find it cool.
So what about like video game characters in general, like Wreck-It Ralph? Would that fall under the anthro thing, because you're giving human characteristics to things that are human to like video game characters that obviously they don't exist in real life?
I think that's called something else, but it would be vaguely similar to it. Because, I mean, technically, like Wreck-It Ralph, he has like the image of being a human, so it's not really. I know there's a word for it.
Well,
yeah, it gets really involved when you start picking it apart.
I mean, no pun intended, but I don't think that's a rabbit hole that I definitely want to go down right now at this moment in time.
Good on you.
I would definitely say that one of my favorite examples of anthro in the media would definitely be Calvin and Hobbes.
Yeah, Calvin and Hobbes is another example. And it's interesting because, like, Calvin, he pretty much creates Hobbes to be this anthropomorphic friend of his. And it gets really interesting when you, like, relating Furry to Calvin and Hobbes. It's like a common juxtaposition that people like to compare. It's really fun.
I just think it's one of the greatest comic strips of all time. It is my favorite comic strip of all time, and I proudly own the entire collection for that series.
Really?
Yes.
That is huge.
Well, the thing does weigh 25 pounds for all 3 books.
Holy crap. Wow. Yeah, Calvin and Hobbes was like a big part of like my childhood as well. The more I think back to it, I'm like, and it took me years to realize that Hobbes was, part of Calvin's imagination. Although I kind of question that to this day. But I mean, that's what's being implied. For the longest time, I just thought Hobbes would like hide himself whenever the parents came around.
I thought the same thing too when I was growing up, Mm-hmm. And the great thing about that comic is it was for both kids and adults. And going back and looking at it with adult eyes is it's mind blowing.
Yeah, there's a lot of existentialism in there.
Now, did Sam and Max get you into the furry fandom?
Not exactly. I think it was like kind of like a combination of things. Just a lot of, yeah, Simon Max was like a big part of it, but there are like plenty of other characters that, you know, I just kind of like really enjoyed and kind of like, you know, idolized. Again, like, you know, characters like Star Fox, like characters from a lot of the Disney cartoons, again, like Robin Hood, and even just like the personalities like from characters like Lion King. Like it was just like this amalgamation of like having like all these different anthro characters that were very creative and fun, that I kind of wanted to create like a character of my own. Like Digimon is like another example, because like it's similar to like Pokemon, but I feel like Digimon is a little more involved because they apply like personalities. Like I know they have personalities for the Pokemon as well, but the Digimon can talk, and like, you know, it becomes more of a conversation. Like they feel more like their own unique characters as opposed to like, you know, a species that just happens to say their name. You know what I mean?
For sure. So what do you embrace about the furry fandom?
What do I embrace most about the furry fandom?
Sure.
Just the creativity. Like it's filled with like an endless well of just creativity. Like there's so much art, music, dance, especially dance. Like I'm a dancer at heart, and like there's tons of like dance events within like the furry community. There's dance battles.
Oh, I know about that. We'll get into that in a little bit.
We'll get into that. Okay, yeah. So like the art, the dance, the music, it's all just so much fun and so much creativity and so much open-mindedness too. The furry fandom is like one of the most accepting communities that I've ever come across, arguably in my entire life. And that can be a two-edged sword. Honestly, I've experienced like both sides of that. Like, you know, you can be like super accepting up to a fault, but you know, living and learning. Like, I feel like there's like some things that are like, we probably should not like accept like Nazism into the fandom, for example.
Yeah,
if I had to listen.
I would agree with that one, dude. I would
agree
with that.
Yeah, and you know, in very like small instances, I've seen that happen before, and I was just like, "What the fuck?" It's like, okay, I think we've crossed the threshold here, guys. We need to pull back a little bit. Pull back. Abort.
Yeah, I mean, you can say it's a character, but I was like, come on now. Really?
Yeah.
Really? You know?
Yeah, that's not okay. So, yeah, but back to what I was saying. But yeah, the furry fandom is super accepting, super loving, and it's great. It's just a big creative party, I guess you could say.
What can you tell me about your fursona, Zeke? Why did you choose a particular name, and why did you choose, I want to say, is it a tiger, correct?
Yes, tiger. Zeke is my fursona. He wasn't always a tiger, actually. Not a lot of people know this. Yeah, at first it was a jackal. And I just chose jackal because it's like it's an African animal. It can be like, you know, traced back to like Nubian culture, Egyptian culture, etc.
That's what I was thinking when you said that.
Yeah, exactly. And that's kind of like what I was going with for a while. But I just found myself very much with an affinity for like the tiger aesthetic and like researching tigers, like knowing that they're kind of like loners, kind of like, you know, and not in a bad way. It's just like, that's just how they thrive. That's just how they survive. And I do have like a lot of close friends and, you know, relatives that I like to hang out with and I like to associate. But I've always kind of been like that guy that just kind of likes to go and do things on his own. So I kind of relate to tigers in that way. People noticed that I had like an affinity for tigers. Like, dude, like, why don't you just make a tiger your fursona? I'm like, I should. They're like, yeah, that feels right. They're like, yeah, tiger definitely suits you. And so I just turned Zeke into a tiger. He does have a little bit of a background, I guess you could say. It's a very simple lore. Like, he's an archaeologist that stumbles into a portal that takes him into like this dystopian version of Egypt. And he becomes like the bodyguard for Anubis. And that's literally what I did for this particular character.
Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of out there.
So why the name Zeke?
Zeke? Uh, Zeke is short for Ezekiel, and I just wanted to associate him with that badass scripture from that they used in the movie Pulp Fiction.
Okay.
And I think that kind of ties into some of Zeke's nature. Like, he just likes to be able to. He likes to show off when it's appropriate. When it's appropriate.
Okay.
Like, using that badass quote. I don't know if you remember the scripture that Samuel Jackson used in Pulp Fiction.
Oh yes, with his yes.
Yeah, that whole.
Well, this is a delicious burger, and then he goes into the thing, and then at the end when he's getting his wallet back,
Mm-hmm. And he's just like, I just thought it was a badass thing to say. I can relate to that. He's like, he doesn't even really know what it means. He just thinks that it was like a badass thing to say.
No, it's oddly enough, like when I was at the Grand Rapids Comic-Con this weekend, I saw a cosplayer dressed up as Mia Wallace with the bloody nose and everything, and I stopped dead in my tracks to ask her to take a photo of her, because I was like, that is a nice callback cosplay that I was not expecting to see.
Yeah, it's exactly like that. It's just like, that's badass. I want it. I gotta, capture this moment.
So, you mentioned dancing earlier. You were one of the
Yes.
winners of the Anthrocon 2015 Floor Wars in the Nonsuit Grand Finals. So, what can you tell me about Tygamese?
Oh, yes, Tygamese. Tygamese is essentially me and my dance partner, Adonis. He's become a good friend to me, like, over these years, these past, what now? Oh, like 5 years? Like, he actually helped me get active in the fandom, like an active participant, because I will like look up like dance videos and stuff, and it came to mind like, I wonder if there's any like dance events at these furry conventions. That'd be really cool. And so that's how I stumbled across Floor Wars, and I just made a comment on one of the videos. I'm like, man, how do I enter these competitions? And he responded, and from there we just started talking. And we formed a team and came up with like different ideas and like routines we could do, and like to start practicing together. And it wasn't until like a couple of months later, he was like, "What did you say you did again?" This was like 2014. He was like, "What'd you say you did again?" And then I told him. He was like, "That's where I thought I recognized you from." And so. Yeah, from there, like our friendship just kind of like grew and grew. Like now, he's even been in like some videos of like Nostalgia Critic, and like we continue to dance as a team. We actually won Floor Wars, Anthrocon, and then we won Floor Wars at MFF that same year.
Nice.
Yeah. So yeah, we just have like a very similar all styles approach to hip hop dance.
Well, I like the fact that he didn't really know who you were right off the bat, so it's obviously a legit friendship. It wasn't based off of like, oh, you're Malcolm from Channel Awesome, so clout chasing. This is like a legit friendship, so I can definitely respect that.
Yeah, for sure. And I've become like wary of that sort of thing too. Like sometimes I wonder like if people are like legitimately trying to be my friends, and or if they're just like looking for like some sort of clout. But it's nice to find those relationships where it's just like actually genuine. It's really refreshing.
Just build your own empire then.
Yeah, exactly. It's funny. He actually built my fursuit.
Oh.
Yeah, that's another nice little factoid. Yeah, Adonis like built Zeke. I commissioned him to build Zeke, and I had the opportunity to work closely with him to get him made. So that was, I'm never getting rid of that thing. Like it's just like a unique creation.
That's excellent.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any influential dancers or dance groups that you look up to?
Oh man. Whew. I will say one, Michael Jackson, because that's like the obvious one. Like I'm very much inspired by Michael Jackson. After that, Les Twins. I don't know if you know who they are.
Can't say it off the top of my head.
Les Twins, like they're these brothers from France. They just started making dance videos on YouTube, and they blew up. Like their videos became really popular because of their unique approach to dance. Like it seemed like they had like sort of a psychic connection, being able to complete each other's moves with precision timing. Like their videos got so big that they got picked up like by Cirque du Soleil, Beyonce, Missy Elliott, and then they just continued to blow up from there. But I love those guys. They're wonderful. And then like Blueprint, Schizo. I like the Jabberwockies a lot. And Tight Eyes. Tight Eyes is a crumper. And I've recently taken 2 crump, and I've been watching a lot of his videos lately. And it's kind of like relearning dance. Like this is a new style.
Because I am familiar with the Jabberwocky from, I want to say MTV used to have a dance show back in the day. I don't remember what the name of it was, or if it was on MTV, but that's how I became familiar with that dance crew.
Jabberwockies?
Yes.
Yeah, I forgot the name of the show. Was it So You Think You Can Dance?
I want to say yes.
I think so. But yeah, Jabberwockies, they're wonderful. Huge crew, much respect. Oh yeah, and there's this local team that I started practicing with. Well, not team, but a person that kind of like, it's like the forerunner of the crump scene out here. He goes by iCrisis. Big shout out to him. He's like keeping that style alive in Chicago.
Are you gonna upload more dance videos? Because you uploaded a handful.
Yeah, I upload every now and then. Like I just got to like feel inspired. Usually I just go in and I just practice. But if I'm really like feeling something, like if I feel I need to like get something off my chest, I'll dance it out. It's like a form of expression where I just kind of like sort of vent or like confide in through this. It's really weird. But I feel so much better after dancing.
I don't think it's weird at all.
Oh, thank you.
No, and I'm not saying that because I'm just talking to you. It's just like I don't think that's weird at all because you're using that as a form of I would like to say positive catharsis. I mean, obviously, you're not harming yourself or anyone else. So yeah, no,
right,
full support.
Thank you.
Side note: I definitely wanted to say thank you to you. Because when I was doing research on you, you had introduced me to this, I think it's a powerful video called Never Catch Me by Flying Lotus. And that also had Grant dancing in it.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. Flying Lotus's Never Catch Me featuring Kendrick Lamar.
Yep.
It is such a beautiful song. And the video is just as beautiful. I love that video so much. And those kids, like, they're really good. Like, they had
Will.
Is that their name?
Well, that's the name of the young boy. I think it's Will Sims or Simmons. He was in This Is America, because that video was directed by I want to say Hiro Murai, who directed This Is America as well.
Wow. Okay, I didn't know. I probably should have looked into that. I'm gonna have to look him up. But yeah, they really good boogaloo, and I saw some crump elements in there. So neither are very easy styles. You got to kind of like have an inclination to it to really get into it. And their movement was excellent.
I meant from a choreography standpoint, those kids were on point. Like for like the last third of the music video, when like the actual instrumental slowed down, and then they just danced right in beat, and I just thought that was amazing. And the whole video was well shot, but like the message behind it was what spoke to me. I mean, what did you take away from the video when you watched it?
Just like Never Catch Me. I saw it as like, transcending death. Like the physical form is, it's finite, it's limited, but your impact, what you do, like, I guess, spiritually, take that however you will. But like, what you do to inspire people, to influence people, what you've done in your time being there, like just existing, just living, is more than what our mortal coils can, allow us to do. And that's what I took from it. Like, despite what happens, like like a phoenix, just kind of like rising from the ashes. That's what I took from it.
No, that's fair. I mean, for me, I thought it was about like the freedom after death. I mean, it's like the shackles of life were lifted.
That too.
I mean, I enjoyed the looks of joy on their face throughout the video. I mean, they were playful as they were running through the church, into the funeral home, and out the door. And then at the very end, when the young boy is like hanging out the window of the car, it's just that look of relaxation on his face as if they were heading home. And then I also looked at it as the kids chasing after their hearse as a symbol of us chasing after our loved ones, but we're never going to catch them until it's our time to meet them again.
Yeah, that too. Oh my God.
That's a deep video, man. I mean, so like, because after I watched that video, because I was just, like I said, I do my deep research, and I saw that video, and I was like, wow, it just stuck with me, and I've watched it at least 30 times, and I've been sending it to all my friends just to hear, like, what their perspective is on the video.
It's breathtaking.
It's a powerful video, so thank you for introducing that to me, because, you had an impact on me.
Oh, I'm glad. Absolutely. And I want to say that you probably listen to Kendrick Lamar as well.
I have like bits and pieces. Like I like all sorts of music. Hip hop, not my huge forte, but I definitely have respect for it.
Okay.
But I have checked out some Kendrick Lamar stuff, like "We're Gonna Be All Right." That video. Yeah. I've heard some of his stuff on Grand Theft Auto 5, along with oddly enough, Flying Lotus has his own channel on Grand Theft Auto 5 as well.
Yeah, they've worked closely together. If I can recommend Kendrick Lamar, check out "To Pimp a Butterfly." That's probably
like the album.
"To Pimp a Butterfly." That's the Kendrick Lamar album that like just sticks with me. I don't know if he's gonna ever top that, but we'll see. I don't know if Kendrick Lamar is gonna top "To Pimp a Butterfly." But
go ahead. Sorry.
It's incredible. Go ahead.
I guess my most recent purchase of hip hop albums was like Logic's "The Incredibly True Story." I did that for
he's great.
I did that for research on Steve Bloom, because he was in a few of Logic's videos.
Yeah.
He's Logic's friend.
Yeah. So, oh my God, that is so fucking cool. Like I had a feeling that was him. I was like, is that him?
That is Steve Bloom.
Holy fuck.
I mean, and I'm a big fan of the nerdcore hip hop genre. So I don't know if you're familiar with any of that stuff.
I am. So would Childish Gambino fall in that, or?
I mean, he definitely made a lot of nerdy references. Yeah, I've definitely watched a lot of Childish Gambino videos. I mean, Sweatpants is still amazing, especially at the end when they transition into Earn. That's probably my favorite Childish Gambino song is Earn, and it's only like a minute and a half, and I'm like, Donald, you could have made that a lot longer.
Yeah.
No, when I mean like nerdcore, I mean like some of the big names. My favorite rapper would be Mega Ran. He's just dope. He's amazing. Okay. There's MC Lars, MC Frontalot, MC Chris. MC Chris is okay at best, but not my cup of tea. But I have respect for what he does. There's a rapper that I would suggest. She's loosely affiliated with nerdcore, but loosely. I would say Samus. Like Samus Aran from Metroid, but with 2 M's. Her stuff's amazing. She does all her own beats. Does songs about black empowerment. She has this song called Mighty Morphin about, like, just because we're black doesn't mean we have to act a certain way. We like all sorts of things, Yes.
Okay, I'm going to have to look her up then.
I'll send you a link to her Bandcamp page. I mean, she has a song called Am I Qualify, which is a song about how all of us, well, most of us will feel imposter syndrome.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And having used coded language.
1080p, that's another song by her, which is about mental health. And that's what my first introduction was to her. And I was just like, wow, these lyrics are very powerful. So, and her beats are amazing too. So shout out to Anango.
Okay.
Yes.
Wow. Yes. Yeah. And actually to complete my point.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No. I'm just going back to it because you mentioned black empowerment. To Pimp a Butterfly. I cannot recommend it enough.
No, I'll definitely listen to it for sure.
Sweet.
So I wanted to learn a little bit more about you. You're a big fan of anime, and I am as well. So why is Kyle Hebert one of your voice acting idols?
Man, Kyle Hebert, I guess it's just, having to hear his voice so much throughout Dragon Ball Z. Like, it just stuck with me. Like, he became the announcer when Funimation took over for the starting at the Ginyu arc. Yeah, he became like the announcer, and I hear him, I'm like, man, that's that announcer. Next time on Dragon Ball Z, it was just like, oh, it just felt so iconic. Last time on Dragon Ball Z, it just felt epic, iconic. And then when he became the voice of my favorite character, Adult Gohan, that sealed the deal for me. I'm like, okay, Gohan's my favorite character. He's now voicing Gohan. Gohan's such a badass. Yes. Well, he was a badass at the time, at least. At the time. Like, they've been doing Gohan so dirty lately, and it hurts me. It hurts me deeply. But yeah, Kyle Hebert, he does such a wonderful job just portraying like that tenacious ferocity of like a young adult that I can deeply relate to, just like young and ambitious, full of fervor and fire. Another one of his characters, like Kiba, that he plays in Naruto. Kiba was one of my favorite characters as well, that also didn't really get done justice. It's like, I guess, I don't know, I like rooting for like underdog type characters, and I like his voice, so.
I wanted to say Rock Lee is one of my favorite characters from the Naruto universe.
Oh, yes, Rock Lee is absolutely one of my favorite characters. Actually, he probably is my favorite character in the Naruto universe. Yeah, like by far.
Oh, for sure. Now, have you got to meet Kyle by chance?
Yes, and it's funny, going back to Channel Awesome, we got to interview him for one of the shows, and it was just excellent. We got to hang out with Kyle Hebert. I got to, just kind of like yuck it up with them. We went out and got deep dish pizza. Yeah, so Kyle Hebert, he's great.
Oh yeah, it's one of the most down to earth people that I've had the pleasure of interviewing. And like even after a few years after I interviewed him, he was like still down to earth. I was like, "Hello, Mr. Hebert." He's like, "You can just call me Kyle." I was like, "Okay, Kyle," and he was just super cool.
Yeah, he's like one of the most laid back, chill dudes I've ever met. And actually, the same goes for Phil Lamarr. There is such a funny story I have with Phil Lamarr. I probably have talked about it before in other interviews. I don't know how much you've researched about me.
I have not heard that, but if you want to share it, feel free to. If not, well, that's fine too.
Okay, let me just go ahead and settle in, because this is such a fascinating story. Okay, so for the longest time, like going back to like when I was studying voice acting, some of my peers, they said, dude, like you have a very similar range to like Phil Lamarr. Like, yeah, you should probably like look into doing impressions. I'm like, okay, well, maybe I'll do a little bit of like Jon Stewart, from the Green Lantern, or Static Shock. I'll put a shock to your system, stuff like that. And I'm like, oh, I can probably work with this. And like, I would do audition after audition, and it finally happened. I got an audition for Sam B from Dead Island. I don't know if you're familiar with that character at all.
No.
Okay, so Sam B, he's like this washed up rapper, and at this like resort, and then everything goes to hell, and he kind of becomes like a hero fighting off zombies, and he's voiced by Phil Lamarr. And so I got an audition for this character, and I'm like, why am I getting this audition? I'm like, what is going on? And it was sent to me by a friend. And so, Takahata sent it to me because he got it in one of his audition rosters. And he's like, I don't know why I got this one. So he sent it to me. He's like, hey, man, you want this? Takahata 101, voice actor from Team 4-Star.
Okay.
Yeah, actually sent me this audition. He's like, you want this, man? I'm like, yeah, sure. And I do it, and I get it. And I am just a bundle of nerves. I'm like, oh my God, I cannot believe I'm, doing this. Like, I'm being a voice match for Phil Lamarr. Holy fuck. I'm very excited. And I finally, do it. And when they released the game, it was Dead Island Riptide. It's in like an MMO sort of game. It's on Steam. It got released, and I got to finally talk about it. And so I cracked my knuckles and fired up my keyboard and took to Twitter, and I was like, hey, I guess what I got to do? I got to be a voice, I forgot the verbiage I used. Like, basically, I said I got to be a voice match for Phil Lamarr, and I tagged him, and I posted the character, and he responds to it. He's like, how'd you find out about this? I'm reading all of his tweets in Jon Stewart's voice. I'm like, oh my God, it's Phil Lamarr. He's responding to me, but oh my God, I hope I didn't step on any toes. And so we take to like DMs and we start talking about it. And he's like, oh, no worries. Was it union or non-union, that sort of deal. And I was like, yeah, it was a non-union deal. So I guess apparently he hadn't been approached for the role. And when it comes to recurring characters, there's a thing called rights to first refusal, where basically the actor that has portrayed the character, they should be approached first, play the role again. And I guess he hadn't been approached at all. And so, but luckily it was like no big deal. It all worked out. And now we follow each other, and we got to hang out at a couple of cons. And it's just like a funny story that we get to go back to. But that's how I got acquainted with Phil Lamarr. That was like one of the coolest moments, like one of the funnest stories in like my voice acting career. It's like being kind of like interrogated by Phil Lamarr.
Well, I'm glad it didn't lead to beef, Yeah,
no, I didn't. Like, it was clear, like, he didn't want any beef. He just wanted to know because he hadn't heard about it at all. And that was like a character that he did, so.
So, actually, we were obviously talking about Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, sorry. Went on a bit of a tangent.
No. A conversation's a conversation, my friend. So
True.
It's all good. Yeah. No, stick to topic, Malcolm. We just got to get through this. Let's just do the typical spiel about what you're involved in. I
nostalgia critic.
No. I mean, not knocking nostalgia critic.
No, of course not.
I do not like those interviews. Those are just that's a promo puff piece, and I have no interest in conducting those sort of interviews,
Yo, sweet. Yeah, you do your research, dude. And that's what really, like, drew me to you. I'm like, wow, he's asking about, like, Sam & Max, Black Sands. I'm like, you really dug deep.
I try. Thank you very much. Thank you for the kind words, good sir. Thank you.
Absolutely.
So we were mentioning Dragon Ball Z. What's the meaning behind the name of your YouTube channel? Like, at least for the URL, it's GohakuX. Is it a mixture of Goku and Gohan from DBZ, or is it a mixture of DBZ and Inuyasha's Kohaku character?
Nice. Okay. Like, I'm glad you caught that. Yeah, Gohaku is actually a mixture of Goku and Gohan from DBZ.
Okay, I figured.
The fusion that almost was. I would definitely have gone with the name Gohaku if they fused, but Gohan missed the Potara for whatever reason, and that never happened.
So besides Yuyu Hakusho and Dragon Ball Z, what are some of your favorite anime series or movies?
Let's see. My favorite outside of those two, I really, really, really love One Piece, like, so much. Oh my God. Like, but it broke my heart. It got way too long. Just so long. And Oda, bless him, for wanting to make such a creative and deeply involved world with history and lore. Like, it's like to the point where he kind of like overwrites, I feel like. And like, you introduce a new character, we're going to spend like 10 minutes in this episode talking about this character. Okay. And now the next 5 episodes are going to be this character's flashback. And I'm just like, oh my God. Now we're over 1,000 episodes now or something like that.
Close to, if not. But a lot of that stuff's filler, though.
Yeah. Like, it really broke my heart. And I love One Piece. But because of that reason, like, I would put Naruto ahead of One Piece. Like, Naruto's another anime that I love.
But Naruto has over 700 episodes.
It does, but...
And there's a lot of filler in that, too.
I don't know, for some reason, it just kind of, like, stays relatively focused. Like, it doesn't try to, like, I don't know, build upon.
I hear you on that one.
Yeah, did Naruto end up with like a 700 episode total?
Yeah, I want to say, yes, sorry, 700 episodes, but I want to say close to maybe 200 of them are filler.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I guess like the writing for Naruto was just a little bit tighter, or it could just be my bias. I don't know. But yeah, I feel like One Piece just like got way too big.
I actually own the majority of the One Piece manga series. I have like the omnibuses, which are the 3-in-1 volumes. So next month I'll have volume 30, which will put me at 90 out of the 94 manga manga books that have been released.
Holy mackerel.
Oh, yeah.
So you got a holy mackerel out of me.
I mean, like, well, and I own all of the Naruto series on manga. It's 72 volumes, so I own the 3 massive box sets for those. Because I'll be the first to admit, I read a lot of that stuff illegally online, and I was like, you know what? Let's put money back into the author's pocket. I mean, like, both Ichiro Oda and Masashi Kishimoto, I mean, they don't need my money because they're both well off, but I was like,
oh yeah,
it's the right thing to do. I mean,
for sure.
I mean, that's what I'm doing with the Berserk series as well, purchasing all the manga because now they're releasing like these 3-volume deluxe book editions, like 3 books a year. But I was like, wow, let's at least give money back to this guy.
Yeah, and that's so fair. Like, I still have like bootleg copies that I got when I was like 6 years old of like the DBZ movies, like Broly. And when I got older, I totally rebought them in like the Funimation localization versions.
Oh yeah,
just so to make sure like that money goes back towards them.
I think it's only fair.
Oh yeah, totally.
So, are you watching anything now?
Currently, anime-wise, I want to get back into Tokyo Ghoul. I just kind of fell off from watching it. I'm kind of vicariously experiencing Boruto. It seems interesting, but again, it's just like I got the whole Naruto story. Like Boruto is just like a nice little bonus nugget, I guess. But it has gotten a little more interesting. It's nice to see like the characters from the original season, to see what they're kind of doing now. And One Punch Man I am watching, and I really want to watch Mob Psycho. That looks really, really interesting, and I want to see it.
It's solid. I watched the first season. I have to go back and watch the second season. It's a solid series.
Okay, I figured as much, because it's the same person that made One Punch Man, right?
Yes, that's I don't know if it's One, that's his pen name. I don't know if it's One or just One. Would recommend Mob Psycho 100. So
man, okay, yeah, I've heard good things about it, and then I do want to see what Beastars is.
Okay. Have you ever seen Blood Blockade Battlefront?
No. What is that?
I would highly recommend that. That's like a show that I came into contact with in the most recent years, like the last 3 years, and I was like, this is amazing. It is wrote by Yasuhiro Naito, or Nito, depending on the pronunciation, who did the Trigun series, the manga, and obviously the anime. But it's animated by the same crew, or some of the same members that did Cowboy Bebop back in the day.
Wow, okay.
So it's basically about what happened was in New York, a portal to a different dimension had opened up just inexplicably in the middle of New York, and now these creatures from a different dimension are now inhabiting New York. But it's not treated as if like, oh my god, like New Yorkers are fighting against demons and different creatures. It's just like, well, they're now assimilated into the culture. It's just everyday life going on in it's now called Hell Salem's Lot, where these demons, different creatures are just coexisting with human beings and stuff like that. And then there's this secret organization called Libra, which are vampire hunters, and that's basically, without spoiling anything, that's the basic gist. And I think it's a very wonderful show. It's episodic. The dub is great. The music's fantastic. And the animation is just top tier. There's 2 seasons of it. And it has a lot of great actors from the Funimation studio putting their mark on it.
Excellent. And so you said this is called Blood Blockade?
Blood Blockade.
Blockade.
Battlefront.
Ooh, alliteration. Blood Blockade Battlefront.
So do you read manga?
I read occasionally. There's only like a handful that I've read, but then they end up getting turned into anime, and so I just watch the anime.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Was there any series that you've read that you would want to be adapted that hasn't?
Let's see. I'm not even sure if there's any that haven't. Yeah, are you saying like any manga that I've read that?
Yes, that has not been turned into an anime.
I don't think so, honestly. Like all the ones that I have read, like DBZ, Naruto, One Piece.
Okay.
Even oh my God, what was the name of that one? The other one by Toriyama.
Dr. Slump?
Yes, Dr. Slump. Has that gotten turned into an anime?
I don't know. I do not know.
I feel like it was probably like a short anime if it did, but I would love to see an anime of that because it's just like really cute and simple.
So we're going on to the final topic of this interview, martial arts. So,
yes.
Why are Police Story and Ip Man 2 some of your favorite films?
Oh man, martial arts was like a big thing in my family. It was just like well researched. Some of my family has practiced martial arts, including myself, and like movies and all sorts of like martial arts paraphernalia just kind of like circled through my house and cycled through my house and my family just years and years. And so I naturally just love seeing a well choreographed fight. And so Police Story and Ip Man 2 definitely up there because Police Story is arguably like Jackie Chan at his prime. His breakout movie in the US, I want to say, like prior to like Rush Hour, obviously, but it got him seen by the world at large, as opposed because he was already huge in Hong Kong. But like I feel like Police Story really like made a name for himself like on the worldwide market. And then Ip Man 2 is like this Donnie Yen's like magnum opus, in my opinion. Like just him like taking the story of Bruce Lee's mentor and packaging it in this beautiful piece of cinema. It almost made me cry just watching that movie.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So do you have any underrated martial arts films?
Let's see, underrated martial arts films. Oh man, it's been a while since I've sat down and just actually watched some. Underrated martial arts film. All right, let me just think about this really quickly.
we can come back to that. I got another question.
Sure.
If something pops up, that's cool. If not, that's cool too.
Okay.
So, besides Jackie Chan, any favorite martial arts actors?
Yes, Donnie Yen. He's up there. Jet Li. Of course, like Bruce Lee. Sammo Hung.
Nice reference right there. I was hoping that you were going to say that.
Mm-hmm. Man, Sammo Hung. He was like always like right there with Jackie Chan, in my opinion. And like, man, I don't know. Like, has he done anything recently? Sammo Hung?
Probably. I know that he's well off. Let's put it that way.
Absolutely.
I don't think he's going to have to worry about acting another day in his life if he chooses not to.
True. I just like love seeing him because like his choreography. And let me make sure I'm actually talking about the correct actor. 1 second.
Yeah, he's a little bit of heavy set, and he would do comedy roles too.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. And that's what I liked about him too. Like he was a bigger guy, but he could still like really move. And like me growing up, I was always kind of like, on the heavier side. I was a chubby kid, and like that like followed me, like I've always like kind of like had weight challenges, like balancing my weight, to just be quote unquote healthy, And so it's like, well, look at this badass. He's like, he's got plenty of meat on him, but he can still move, So he's like kind of like one of my idols in martial arts cinema, and it kind of like holds like a personal part of my heart as like him being one of my favorite martial arts actors.
That's excellent to hear.
Mm-hmm.
So in an interview, you stated that you wanted to create a martial arts horror film. What type of horror style and what type of martial arts would you like to focus on for your film?
Okay. Whew.
Yeah, I had to withhold that question from you, homie.
Ooh, you really, really, really did your research. Okay, so I want to like make it like a legit horror film. So like, taking elements from like really suspenseful, creepy stuff, like from the Conjuring series, the people that, did the Conjuring movies, like that group, like just being able to dig into what makes horror, and it's like suspense and, just like a sense of like hopelessness almost. But I want to incorporate martial arts into it as well. Like it doesn't necessarily have to be a specific style. Like I find that, well choreographed, like mixed martial arts can work as well. I know Donnie Yen, he's like adapted a lot of like mixed martial arts fighting styles, like in his movie Flashpoint. I love Flashpoint so much. It has like some of the most brutal choreography in it. And I want to combine those two elements somehow, like horror and martial arts, like make it seem like just like a losing battle for somebody that might be incredibly skilled, but and despite it being like a well choreographed fight scene, I want to incorporate that element of horror, like just like dark and gritty, kind of like what The Raid was. Are you familiar with The Raid?
Oh yes, I own both films, and I'm still holding out and hoping for the third and final film.
Yeah, stuff like that. And even like Tony Jaa's, like Muay Thai, probably. I would probably be more like a Muay Thai martial arts, because it just seems very clear cut and direct. I don't know. It would definitely take some playing around, but I want to take like that kind of choreography and then put it in like a horror setting. But man, wow, I didn't think anybody caught that question. When did I? Wow, I can't remember last time I openly spoke about that. That's like something that's always on my mind. It's like a personal goal of mine, is to create something like that.
Popped up in a podcast interview that I listened. That was a nice conversation between you and this other gentleman. So,
okay, wow, okay, I think I know who you're talking about.
Wrote it down. I was like, I would like to do a follow up on that. So, and I did.
Absolutely, yeah, no, definitely. It's still something that's on my mind, because I have an opportunity, working with the studio, Channel Awesome, and we're going to be working on new projects where we can like, kind of like do our own independent things. And that's kind of one of the things where I'm like, I'm going to make this somehow. All I need is like a budget. That's it.
Good luck to you, sir. I'll definitely tune in for that once that comes to fruition down the road.
Thank you.
So speaking of martial arts horror films, have you seen either The Legend of the Seven Golden Vampires or Encounters of the Spooky Kind?
Whoa. What is that? I want to look these up. Send me the title. Send me these titles names.
I will. Because Legend of the Seven Golden Vampires, I haven't seen it, but I did watch the trailer for that. It's like Hammer Films from back the horror films. The people behind the Hammer Films met up with the Shaw Brothers, which any fan of martial arts would know that Shaw films were very popular as far as martial arts films go. And like they both just collaborated to do a martial arts horror film where vampires are taking on martial artists.
That's amazing. Okay.
And then I want to say Encounters of the Spooky Kind. I want to say Sammo Hung is in that. Or Hung.
Oh my God. Okay, now I got to look that one up for sure. I I have not gotten to like go through. I feel like I have not gotten to go through much of Sammo Hung's like.
Oh, yep. Sammo Hung is in that film.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna watch it.
It came out 1980, so yes.
I'm gonna watch it.
So I don't know if this necessarily falls into I don't know if it falls into the horror category, but I love this film. Have you ever seen Riki O, The Story of Riki?
Riki O. That sounds really familiar.
It is a gory, and I'm doing this with quotation marks, kung fu film, because his fist just goes through people.
Oh, I think I've seen clips of that, like where he'll just like punch them and they like explode like
some of
Jello.
Some of them. It's almost like Fist of the North Star live action, but it's not post-apocalyptic, because the whole premise of that is like in the future, all of the prisons are privatized, and Riki ended up going to jail for killing a drug dealer who killed his girlfriend, and for some, he's always had strong martial arts, and during a flashback during the film, he learned how to have pretty much an iron body during one afternoon training with his uncle in a cemetery. His uncle was throwing tombstones at him, and it's so ridiculous. It's so over the top. It's great. So you remember like back in the day of The Daily Show when Jon Stewart is like, here's your moment of zen, and then they would show that guy getting his head clapped?
Yeah.
That's from Riki O, The Story of Riki.
Okay, yeah. I know what you're talking about. I've never actually seen that movie. I've only seen clips of it because it was like memed for a while. I think, yeah, that being one of the memes.
I would highly recommend that you would take some time out of your life to watch this cinematic masterpiece. It is. Please. The dub is so horrendous. That's what it makes it even better. There's not much.
Yes.
I mean, the guy who does the martial arts, he's pretty solid, but there isn't much of a back and forth fight scenes. It's just his fists going through people, and it's so over the top and bloody. It's ridiculous, and I love Riki O. Like, I will sit down with people and make them watch it for the first time, and I just like looking at their reactions because they're like, "Oh my god, I was not expecting this."
Wow. Yeah, no, like, just seeing how brutal some of those shots were.
Yeah. That stop. If you're looking this stuff up right now, just stop, because I don't want you to be spoiled by that. Just watch the film. It's probably about an hour and a half, and it's well worth your time.
Okay. I will behave. Yeah, please. Yeah, just send me the list of all this media that's awesome recommendations.
I will certainly do that. So as we're wrapping this up, you did mention that you have a martial arts background. So what style have you practiced?
Aha, true martial artist never reveals their secrets.
Oh, that's false.
I know. No, I studied, let's see, I started out with like Taekwondo. Like that was just like growing up as a kid. And like I was kind of following in the footsteps of my older brother. Like he took it way, way further than I ever did. Like his passion for martial arts is equivalent to my passion for the performance arts, and he went on to like compete in Ultimate Fighter. He was in season 4 Ultimate Fighter.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, and incredible martial artist. And now he has his own schools. He runs like several different schools, and he's doing really well because I mean he can't keep fighting forever. You get at the point where your body's just like, well, I'm old,
No, I have massive respect for like martial artists and mixed martial artists because that's a meat grinder. If you're just doing fights, you can only last. I mean, you have a limited shelf life when it comes to that. Yeah. What was the name of your brother?
He is Gideon the Gladiator, as he's known as. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, look him up.
Will do, actually.
Yeah. Yeah, I studied like with him for a little bit, so I learned a little Muay Thai, and and some other things. Picked up a few tricks here and there, but nothing like I didn't get as involved as he did.
No,
just like
that's fair.
Yeah, because I'm like at some point I'm like I just I don't want to break my body. I just want to tell people stories, make people laugh. I'm a lover, not a fighter.
So your background was Taekwondo and some Muay Thai.
Maybe sprinkle a little bit of mixed martial arts in there.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
No, I have. I'm a big fan of mixed martial arts and traditional martial arts.
Oh yeah, yeah. Like kung fu, karate.
Well, when people say like, "Yeah, I do kung fu," I'm like, "Okay,
What style?
What style of kung fu? That's a giant umbrella. That
Yeah.
basically means hard work in Chinese. So, what style
Yeah.
of kung fu do you know?"
Exactly. Oh man. Yeah, there's like a million different styles out there.
But do you follow MMA? I mean, besides obviously your brother.
Oh no, like I followed it for the little bit of time that I did, like when he was like still actively competing. Now I don't personally, but like I'll hear things here and there. But yeah, I kind of fell off. I'm a performer now.
No, that is completely cool. So I guess we should wrap this up because I have my final 3 questions for you.
Okay.
So speaking of performing, what's new that you would like to talk about that you were allowed to promote?
Oh, okay, yeah. Of course, Black Sands. Black Sands is still, it's in production. Like he's still, trying to solidify funds. So if you want to show support, all you gotta do is pretty much follow me on Twitter, and I retweet all of the things he does. But if you type in, I think it's Black. Like if you look up Black Sands Entertainment on Google, you'll see all of his stuff pop up. I'm also working on a series. Well, not a series. A game coming up called Bulletville. I am voicing one of the characters in that project. It goes by KO5, or actually, my mistake. They are now a non-binary character because it's an artificial intelligence, like assassin robot. So they go by they, them. They're this mech assassin robot that's kind of like Genji, but more robotic. And he's really cool and badass, and I'm excited to see this game come into fruition. It's kind of like a combination between Overwatch meets Borderlands. So,
Okay.
yeah, that's a game that I'm working on, and there's some projects coming up in Channel Awesome that are of my own original creation. So, keep on a lookout for that.
If people wanted to find you online, where could they go?
Oh yeah, on Twitter I am Malcolm the Ray. That's MALCOLMTHERAY. And that's pretty much where I reside. If people want to reach out to me, and yeah, we can do business from there.
And final question: what would you like to say to all your fans throughout the years?
Oh my goodness! Just thank you so much for being there, for putting up with my zaniness. I didn't know what to expect getting into this industry. I like notoriety, or being like some sort of like public figure-ish. Like it wasn't always like on my mind, so it's still kind of surreal, getting hellos or hi, are you Malcolm? Is that you? It's a humbling experience. It's still so surreal to me, and I'm grateful. Thank you all so much. I'm so glad that I can do this for a living. It's a dream come true.
That's good to hear, man. That's good to hear.
Thank you.
Well, Malcolm, thank you so much for this interview.
Joe, thank you. Thank you so much. Like this was fun. I hope you and I can hang out sometime, grab a bite, some coffee or something. I feel like you and I could have even more involved conversations about these topics.
Oh, I'd be down for that, sir. I mean, I do live in Grand Rapids, so it's not that far of a distance. But we ain't doing that anytime soon since winter is now upon us. And I mean, I don't even know how y'all folks do it down in Chicago.
Chicago. Oh,
yeah.
God.
Yeah, you can keep your Windy City during that time of the year, my friend.
I've driven up to Grand Rapids before in the winter. It's kind of crazy, honestly. I don't know why I did that.
Snow is cool and all, but you know what? It could just stay off the road. That's I mean, that's all I ask, is for it to just stay off the road, and that way I can get to and from. But
yeah.
Well, as we're wrapping this up, folks, this is Joe from My Geek Scene, and I'm here with Malcolm Ray. Take it easy.
Peace.